Hi, I'm Pastor Tay of the Titus 2 Ministry and PastorTay.com. Welcome to Espresso. It's an interactive Bible study that is like espresso, strong and smooth. Enjoy the taste. Welcome all of you to our Titus 2 community talk show. It is called Talk Live Tuesday. I am Pastor Tay of the Titus 2 Ministry and PastorTay.com, and I want to welcome you to Tuesday night, our Talk Live Tuesday, it is called. This is our Facebook Live community inside the Titus 2 community, and I want to also welcome our YouTube viewers through the Espresso channel. As you know, Espresso, my favorite drink, is strong and smooth. And so that's the inspiration behind the style of what we do, being strong in the word and smooth in the application. So if you're watching through the YouTube channel, we hope that you enjoy the taste. And so we're going to talk about marriage, have a conversation about it. And as you know, we have a 4-week rotation, 4 topics, that is, communication, conflict, in-laws, and sex. And when we're done with those 4, we're going to start all over again. And tonight, we're going to talk about in-laws. But before we get started, I want to introduce one more time Stuart. I know, we got to do this again. Here's Stuart. This is Stuart Martin.
Hi,
okay.
everyone.
Okay, he is our program manager. So he's going to keep us honest, managing the time, fielding your questions, things like that. So if you are now joining us from wherever you are, can you guys check in, say hello, let us know what state are you from, what country, and Stuart, if anybody is there, go ahead and jump on in and let me know.
Yeah, Sonia Lynn is here again.
Hey,
and
Sonia.
And Don Owsley is here, and anyone else
okay.
want to speak up?
Okay.
Now's your chance.
Great. You know, we have over 150 viewers, but you guys are too shy. You guys have to step up and let us know if you are there and make comments, and that'll be part of the synergy and the fun that we are going to have. So Stuart, anytime, stop me and let us know who is joining us. But we are going to get started right now. Our Talk Live Tuesday topic is in-laws. Now, where are you going to get this kind of conversation, this kind of teaching? Because rarely does the church talk about these things, and it really is hard to find this type of information online. Now, of course, you're going to find a lot of stuff from a secular point of view, but you know the Titus 2 community is all about the Word of God and applying it, and so getting a biblical perspective on in-laws, this is the place to get it. And so we're so glad that you are here. And so why don't we start? Go ahead and make comments on, and Stuart will check the scroll there. But if your in-laws are a blessing, would you go ahead and post? Tell us if your in-laws are a blessing to you. They've been just really good to you, kind to you, everything from babysitting to helping you out. Go ahead and let us know if your in-laws are a blessing to you. Now, there is a flip side to that, and that is that relationships can be problematic. And so post if you have some in-law challenges. Would you do that? If you have some in-law challenges or problems, go ahead and say, hey, I got some problems. And go ahead and let us know about that. So tonight, we're going to talk about in-laws, but just like the other 2 topics we've had already, communication and conflict, you saw how, given the time that we have, that we just cannot cover all the different subtopics that are connected to it. And that's going to be the case tonight as we put down our first installment about in-laws, that, hey, we can't cover everything. I know there's a lot of hot topics inside in-laws, but we're going to have to try to stick to one subtopic tonight. And the topic is the origin, okay, so write that down, the origin of in-law problems. Stuart, would you write that on the scroll and let them know that that's going to be our topic?
I can't see what I'm typing.
You can't see what you're typing? All kinds of technical difficulties tonight. But why don't you go into my textbook? Yeah, let's do that. So our topic tonight is the origin of in-law problems. And I should say, one of the origins, because really, as you know, problems can come from every direction, not just one. So I don't want you to get the misconception that when I say origin, that there's only one direction that the problem comes. Actually, the problem can come from all directions. And tonight we're just going to talk about one of them. And we're going to just pace ourselves. And if you ask a question about some other origin or something else, we're going to have to postpone that for another day. But tonight we're going to talk about one of the main places where in-law problems come from. And experts agree that the trail leads back to the mother's womb, okay? The mother's tummy. She is pregnant with you. That is the starting point of in-law problems. I know it sounds crazy because that's such a wonderful time. Everybody is happy, and especially the mother, as she is emotionally and spiritually bonding with the baby that is inside her. So what is she doing? What were you doing when you were pregnant? Were you knitting blankets and singing songs and thinking about things, turning on music for the little baby inside you? In other words, it was a time of bonding. It was a time of real emotional attachment, and experts say that that's when the drama begins. The relationship between the parent and the child, okay? The child's not born yet, but the child that is inside you is already started, okay? And experts cleverly call that the parent-child relationship. So Stuart, would you type that in? Parent-child relationship. That's the hot topic on the table tonight. So you guys, if you have any questions about this, parent-child relationship. So you got the two, Stuart, okay? You got the parent. And if you want to make it a title, parent and then put a slash, dash, child relationship. That's the title of our talk tonight. So the parent-child relationship actually begins inside the mother's stomach. And that's when the child begins to become so important, and understandably so, to the mother at that time. And when the baby is born, now it's becoming very real, right? Parent-child relationship is solidified. The child becomes the center of the universe, right? And the child is the sun, and the mother and the father are the planets that revolve around the sun, right? So I got a question for you, and would you post it on the scroll? Is your child the center of your universe? Let me know. Is your child the center of your universe? Yes or no? And so as the child begins to grow, this is where the feelings begin to change now. This is just a general comment, begins to change between the mother and the father. The mother, she sees the child growing and she is not comfortable. Underline that word, not. She is not comfortable with the fact that her child is growing. You'll hear comments like, she's growing up too fast. Have you heard that? Have you said that? She's growing up too fast, or I wish you would never grow up. Did you ever hear that? You know, I've seen those posts all the time on Facebook, right? They'll post a cute little baby picture and they'll say things like, oh, growing up too fast, that's the tagline, right? Did you guys ever do that? Come on now. Confess, okay? If you ever posted a baby picture and typed in growing up too fast, or I wish you would never grow. I remember one mother looking at her baby holding and saying, I wish you would never grow. That's what she said to him, okay? So did you ever post something like that and say something? One mother said, it's scary how fast he is growing. And I'm thinking, scary, okay? This is God's will for that child to grow. But there's kind of an attitude. The point is, when she says she's scared, is that she's beginning to feel a little discomfort. She's not comfortable with the fact that the baby is growing. Now, sometimes the father is like that too. I've seen posts like that on Facebook. Hey, dads, did you guys post something like that saying, growing up way too fast, or something like that? So the whole point is now even the dad's joining with that sentiment that the child is growing way too fast. But generally speaking, guys are, or dads are not as much like that. Sometimes guys think the opposite. For example, the father will say, well, when's this kid going to grow up and help me mow the lawn, right? Sometimes the guys think like that. But the mother, she cherishes every moment, right? and tries to stay in touch with every detail. She doesn't want the child to grow, and she is so emotionally and spiritually invested in all the details, all the relationships. I mean, she knows all the friends, right? Their names, prom dates, serious relationships. You guys remember all that? Go ahead and post and let me know. She knows all the names of everybody. Was your mother like that? Go ahead and post and let me know. And Stuart, if there's anything on there, go ahead and let me know.
Not yet, but I would like to say hi back to Magdalena from Lima, Peru.
Peru, yes. Hi.
And
hey.
Hello to Dorothy from London.
Oh my goodness. Dorothy from London. Welcome. Good to see you there. So the question is, was your mother like that? Are you like that? Now, our Titus 2 community is awesome because we've got young wives who have yet to have children. We have older women who have grown children. So we just got the whole spectrum. And so just a wonderful group of ladies there. So let me ask you, was your mother like that? Or let's flip it. Are you like that? So now the mother, she's growing in her, just her investment and her desires for the son. Let's just say son, for example. So she'll say things like, no secret between mommy and you, okay? And tell mommy everything, all right? So the son will go out as a kid, right? He'll come back and she'll say, tell me everything. Don't leave out any details. And so she is very invested. And so the mom can be very complicated. On the one hand, she loves how big her boy is. But on the other hand, she hates how big her boy is, okay? So one hand, oh, he's such a big boy, and she's so proud. But then on the other hand, she's not happy that he is grown up way too fast. So isn't it like that? 100 kisses a day, right, to her baby boy, all the way into high school and all the way up to the wedding night. And so the night before her son's wedding, she's crying all night, right? So did you cry? Okay. Did you cry on the night before your son's wedding? Okay. Did your mom cry on the night before your wedding? It's because her baby is leaving. Okay. And so the son then feels emotional too. And he says, why are you crying? Okay. Mom, I'll always be here for you. I love you. And so there's all kinds of emotional complications on that. And especially on the wedding day, oh, she's filled with all kinds of mixed emotions about her son because she doesn't want to lose her baby. She wants him to stay in his life. Now, of course, conceptually, she knows that he's moving on, right? But she is not happy about it because her heart, she doesn't want to let go. And so oftentimes, here's the point, the heart overpowers the mind. Let me say that again. The heart overpowers the mind, and there's all kinds of very complicated emotions. So after the marriage, okay, so now let's transition. The boy is married now. She wants to now continue with the relationship dynamic that she's had all her life. She wants to be involved in all the details of their lives. And so, for example, if it's mother and daughter, the married daughter now, they're going to talk all the time about every little detail, constantly. Mother and her married son. Okay. Stuart's telling me that my time is up. So I'm going to wrap it up really quick. And you guys, let me know. What do you guys think about this whole idea of the parent-child relationship? That's the topic on the table. So the whole point is that the parent-child relationship continues on. And as it continues, it causes all kinds of complications, okay? Stuart, what do you got, okay?
Sonia had a comment that her parents were the perfect in-laws. His were not so much. He was the center of the world and nothing was good enough. They made decisions for our family without my input.
Okay, so that's a very common experience. And if you guys can relate to what Sonia said, go ahead and say, I agree. Type in your experience as well. So you see, again, one of the problems that Sonia pointed out something very, very relevant to this, and that is the lines are blurred. Decisions are made. All kinds of things are happening, and it's not as clear. You thought when you guys got married that maybe in your mind the lines were clear. It was husband and wife. But now decisions are made, visits are made unannounced. All kinds of things are happening. And my point tonight, and it's just one point, we've got a lot to talk about. It's related to this thing of the parent-child relationship. That's the origin. That's when things start getting a little bit crazy. And so that's just one of the answers tonight. Anything else, Stuart? Okay.
Nothing else, but I would like to say hello back to Eunice Sao.
Okay, Eunice. That's George's wife. Okay, hello, Eunice. And all the way from Toronto, right? And so good to have you tonight. And so in-law dynamics, that's what we're talking about, Eunice, tonight. And it's just one thing about how lines get blurred, things get complicated. And again, back to Sonia, this is when feelings get hurt, right? That's what we're talking about. That's kind of behind what she is expressing there, that sometimes you get offended, you get upset, you get blindsided. And all these things are connected to the parent-child relationship and how the parents continue on. You're smirking there. Did something else just come in? If not, let me just keep on going.
George might be logged into Eunice's account, actually.
Oh, is that George? George is logging into Eunice's account. Okay, so hello, George. Good to have you there. All right, so I'm just going to keep on talking. And we've had the same situation in the past two shows where some of the stuff is so obvious, that people are just like, okay, not knowing what to say. If it's obvious to you or you see this so clearly in your situation, go ahead and say, yeah, I see this in my situation too right now, okay? So go ahead and let us know about that. So unless Stuart throws something at me, I'm just going to keep on going right here, okay? And so you guys soak this in. So I've kind of laid it out. This is the parent-child relationship, okay? And so let me just give you one of the answers, all right? One answer for tonight. There's many, okay? And one answer tonight is that you have to move in to the next chapter of your life, okay? So that's kind of the general answer. Let me explain. But the point is, you are in this chapter of life. Okay, you see how life has many chapters. So you were in a previous chapter. That chapter was called parent-child relationship. But now the answer becomes move into another chapter of life, which is now called, well, actually, I didn't come up with a name for it. But it's the idea of it's a new chapter that is not parent-child relationship. That was in the past. Now we got a new dynamic, which is what I'll just make something up, an adult relationship. Not parent-child, but an adult relationship where everybody that's participating in this dynamic is an adult. Now, I get this from Genesis chapter 2. This is going to be our key text for tonight. Stuart, would you mind writing this into the scroll? Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Okay, so verse 24 is what we're talking about. And let me read that for you. Genesis 2:24 says, "For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh." Let me read that again. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united with his wife, and they will become one flesh. Now this verse is going to teach us a bunch of stuff. And tonight is just the first installment. We're going to come back to it and answer a lot of hot topics related to this. But tonight, just going to apply one thing from this, and that is that you must adopt or you must develop an adult relationship. So again, remember this little finger illustration here or hand illustration? Over here, you have the parent-child relationship. But you got to now leave that behind. That's the leaving, okay? Leave the mother and father. Parent-child relationship. And what you are now adopting is the adult relationship. And so that's just one application to the passage that is here. Develop the adult relationship. So listen, you can't leave and then just stay the same. It doesn't work that way. Because if you stay the same, you haven't left. You might have physically left, okay, but you haven't left. So you might have physically left, gotten married, and maybe moved to a different state, different country, whatever. But the point is, you haven't really left because the dynamic between you and your parents is still the parent-child relationship. Leaving, and our big application for tonight, is to develop an adult relationship. Okay? So leaving is about having a relationship where everybody is acting like adults. And it reminds me of 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Write that down, Stuart, please. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 11, where the Apostle Paul says, when I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. So again, just a pretty straightforward verse about how you got to leave it behind. You got to put it behind you. You are adults now. And so it might sound like a no-brainer, but this is one of the more powerful things you got to learn from Talk Live Tuesday tonight, is you got to have an adult relationship. If you do not make a conscious effort to do this, you could be in a state of the parent-child relationship for the rest of your life. And that could cause all kinds of complications. And again, I'm not blaming the mother or the father for everything. All I'm saying is the dynamic between you and your parents, if it continues to overpower your marriage, that's a source of a big problem. So, let's pick up where we left off here. It's the idea that you guys are adults now, okay? Go ahead and type that into the scroll. Type, I'm an adult now, okay? We don't have any kids, all right? There's no kids inside the community. You guys asked to join the community. The assumption is, and this is a powerful assumption, all right, is that you guys are adults. Type it in the scroll. I am an adult now. Don't revert back to your childlike ways with your parents. It's an adult relationship, and an adult relationship, I'm going to give you a one-liner here. An adult relationship assumes adult etiquette. An adult relationship assumes an adult etiquette. And what that means, that it's kind of a social behavior, okay? It's about a behavior where you guys are now, again, acting like adults, and what comes with that is mutual respect, okay? Anytime something pops up, Stuart, go ahead. Mutual respect. And so, you know how adults, how they respect one another? They respect that, and you can apply this in a variety of ways, right? Respect boundaries. Sonia's comment about decisions being made without her even being aware. What is that? You can't do that, okay? Husbands, do you do that? Okay? You let your mom come in, you let your dad come in, you let your brother and sister come in, and you guys have some secret meeting and you guys don't even involve the wife. You can't do that. Okay, I was speaking pretty straightforward there, but you know what I'm talking about, okay? Adult relationship assumes an adult etiquette, which includes things like, and here you go, the smooth application. It involves things like knowing boundaries, respect. You know, the Bible talks about mutually respecting one another. Philippians chapter 2, valuing others above yourself. And so now you got all these principles in Scripture flooding in about respect and humility and thinking of others better than yourself. And if you do that, okay, you're not going to make decisions without your spouse being aware. You can't do that. You have now a whole new entity, a whole new authority. And so as adults, you would never treat another adult as a child. And so decision making, knowing boundaries. You can't go into the kitchen or living room and rearrange furniture. You can't go into the backyard and plant flowers and stuff like that. And, you know, although those all come with good intentions, right? But that kind of feels like a violation, you know. There's a certain level of privacy that I think we need to respect. And so sometimes mothers have trouble with that because all their lives they've been so invested and involved and crossing every boundary line involved, and they continue to do that. But listen, to all the wonderful mother-in-laws out there, this is not a session about mother-in-law bashing. This is not a session about father-in-law bashing. You know what I'm bashing tonight? I am bashing this idea of crossing lines without respect. I am criticizing crossing lines without humility and without really esteeming others better than yourself. So again, we don't want to say every mother-in-law is bad, every father-in-law is bad. We just want to say that everybody play nice. Everybody act like adults. Everybody respect one another. So, we've come to a very important question. You guys who are inside the audience right now, and I know we got more than 100 people watching right now. If you guys would come out and let us know. Here's a question for you. Do you have an adult relationship with your parents? Yes or no? Tell me, do you have an adult relationship with your parents? Now, if you are the parent, okay, we got some older parents here in our community. Do you have an adult relationship with your adult child? Okay, let me know. Go ahead and tell. And so as we're coming to a close, okay, we're trying really hard to stick with the time for 30 minutes. We know that you have other things planned for the night. And so we're just going to wrap it up here. You're going to have to sneak in your questions real quick as we are coming to a close. Hey, we're doing much better than in our previous 2 sessions where we ran really over. But I'm just going to run over just a minute or 2 as opposed to 10 minutes like before. So again, you're not going to use words that are controlling, right? You did that when you were young. Don't touch this. Don't touch that. Or come over here. You use those strong words when the child was young. But now you can't talk that way. You can't talk to your daughter-in-law like, come over here, or to your adult son, get over here and do this or do that. That's a language of control. Control is not part of an adult dynamic. An adult relationship involves respect. So, have you ever said this to your child? I don't care if you're 50 years old, you're still my daughter. Have you ever heard that? Okay, I've heard stuff like that. Or like the dad says, I don't care if you are 60 years old, you're still my princess. Come on now. Some of that stuff's got to go, all right? I know that sounds romantic and wonderful, but that stuff has got to go. We got to control our tongues. We got to control what we say. And it's not just because, it's about bad words coming out or things like that. That's not the point. The point is, this is an adult relationship. And if it's an adult relationship, we have to watch what we say. We don't say whatever we want to adults. We actually it goes through a filter, right? Where we recognize that the person is an adult. And then we speak, right? And so we're going to wrap it up tonight. And Stuart is going to type a very complicated word on the scroll. You ready for that? The word is Sansevieria trifasciata laurentii. Did you get that in there? Okay, that is a big fancy word. Anybody know what that means? Sansevieria trifasciata laurentii. Anyone, if you know what that means, go ahead and type that in. Actually, let me ask you. Look over here. Do you guys see this plant right here? Tell me what it is. Okay, do you know the answer? Go ahead and type the answer inside the scroll. It actually has a bunch of names. Okay, the botanical name is Sansevieria trifasciata laurentii. All right. It's also called the snake plant. So notice the shape of it. It looks like, I don't know, snake plant?
Use your imagination.
Stuart's shrugging his head. But this plant has been known, or has the name, mother-in-law's tongue. Okay, mother-in-law's tongue. Go ahead and Google that, and you will see an image of this plant right here. And so the point is, throughout history, the mother-in-law had a reputation of talking too much, saying too much, or maybe her tongue is like this, kind of sharp and a little bit too strong. But again, we're going to end today by not just criticizing the mother-in-law, but we're going to say that all of us need to have an adult relationship and watch what we say, mutual respect, and put aside the parent-child relationship and adopt an adult relationship that we can have with one another. That's it for tonight. We're so glad that you joined. Not a lot of questions tonight, but that's all right. We hope that you guys benefited from it. This is our first installment. But Stuart, don't turn it off yet, just quite yet, because I do want to say that we have a website. And George, if you would please drop the website into the comment section and let people know. Titus2ministry.org. You can go there and get resources. Also, we have a newsletter that goes out that has weekly updates and all kinds of information for you. So if you guys would please go ahead and subscribe, and George will drop the link for that. And so we have a 4-week rotation here: communication, conflict, in-laws, and then sex. And so next week is going to be a pretty interesting topic, huh? We're going to be talking about sex. But until then, I want you to know that our prayers are with you. If you have questions or comments, please post. Let us know. If you have in-law issues, let me tell you, I've been counseling for over 30 years, and in-law topics are right up there as some of the biggest challenges in a marriage. So how interesting. We're talking about in-laws, but we're really talking about marriage and just how hard it becomes when in-law things become very, very complicated. So anyway, hopefully you guys benefited from it. If you guys need prayer, let us know. You need support. If you need counseling, let us know, and we'll be glad to help you. Anyway, great talking to you guys tonight. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for joining us for a devotional drink today. If you love Espresso, click here to subscribe so you know when the next one is ready to enjoy. Visit our website for resources for every chapter of your life. And if you're thirsty for more, click here. See you next time. May God bless your day.